those were some of the good traits you picked up from your father. What are some of the good traits you picked up from that partnership, and what are some of the bad traits you think you've picked up?
Yeah. Well, hopefully, the good traits would be humility, staying humble as well, understanding, being fair, being honest. I think, honesty is very, very important. Honesty and appraisal as well, which I touched upon earlier. The old man certainly wasn't afraid to say when something was not right, but to say it in a certain way and not be vindictive about it, and to try and nurturing and helping the next generation. That is key. My father and uncle were great mentors, and that's something which I am passionate about as well, because I went through that. As I explained, as an apprentice and all the other places that I worked at, I was very fortunate. I had great mentors as well as my father and uncle. So I think for me it's important to recreate that and to carry that on. Yeah. And my cousin is the same as well. It's really, really important for us to carry that on. So hopefully they're the positive traits that I picked up from dad and uncle, and that and something from my mum, of course, because it takes two to make a child. Yeah, sure. And that's her unrelenting sort of energy. Although I'm kicking on now, I'm 65 and I've got a bad back, and I'm slowing down.
Yes, don't help. Apologies.
I'm slowing down a bit, but Mum is incredible. She has got so much energy. She is the life and soul of a party at the age of 85, and she keeps on going. Oh, she is incredible. Yeah. Absolutely incredible. So hopefully I've picked up that kind of from my mum's side. She's also a very good cook as well, not a professional cook, but also very good home cook, and has an amazing palate and understanding of great food. Bad traits, Dad. Gosh, yeah, there were a few.
Such as?
Well, one of them being his love of women. He was notorious, and he wouldn't mind me saying that. He's probably looking down now and laughing his socks off, bless him. He was a womanizer, and he loved life to the full, which I don't know if that's a bad trait or a good trait.
Well, it comes with both, doesn't it? Yeah. Any form of gluttony has good things and bad things about it. I think it's just.
Oh, he was a glutton too, but he always, as in a food glutton, he loved his food. But he always said that it was because of the war, and because he was deprived of so many good things.
Yeah. Just for context, listen, because your father fought in the war, didn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's one thing I was going to ask you, teed me up, is how important do you think his time in the war was to Le Gavroche's success?
Well, Dad was and Uncle, very, very headstrong, single-minded, and when they had an idea, they would go with it.
Yeah.
They sometimes argued a lot, actually, because they were different characters, but they both had a goal and they wanted to go for that, and that was open the restaurant, and then open a second, a third, a fourth, but that was their goal, and I think that generation that went through such hardship as the war, and as kids, they were foisted off, and as a lot of children were during the occupation in France, and they saw hardship, and they saw hardship as well growing up as kids, because my grandfather on my father's side was not the best, shall we say. He was also quite a womanizer, allegedly. I never met him, and used to drink a lot, and was not the nicest person. So they had quite a tough childhood. The war, an errant father, shall we say, and so it was tough. So that forged them. That forged the hardness in their characters.
Yeah.
And deprived of all the good things during the war as well.
Yeah.
So, they had very little butter, very little cream, which were just two of the items that my father absolutely adored and would pig out on.
Sure.
I mean, he could get through a slab of butter in one session. I mean, it was, phenomenal, the amount of dairy fats that he would eat. And he used to say, I don't care. I don't care. I didn't eat enough of when I was a kid, and I'm going to catch up now. And I remember the first 6 months when I was an apprentice in Paris, and I stayed on my grandmother's couch in her little flat in Paris. And there was a cupboard that I opened one day, and it was full of sugar, flour, and tinned food, but enough to last for probably a year.
Wow.
And I said to Grandma, what the hell is all this? And she said, Michel, you just never know when they may come back. And she would hoard. And a lot of that generation did hoard.
Not that my memories is, but there was Nazi occupation, wasn't there?
Yes.
And your father, that's mad. Like, again, it feels so recent, it feels so far away, but also so recent. You know what I mean? And it's this weird, that kind of sort of the malleability of time, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's crazy. So it's interesting. So because almost his sort of lack of then made him a glutton for life. And
I believe so.
I love that. I really love that. Because then it's inspired. It's the same again with the music. It's like we were so repressed, and it's like you have the 60s, then the contraception pill comes in. Like there became a gluttonous appetite for life post all that deprivation. So that was one bad trait. Was there any other traits you've picked up? Because I'm just thinking like my mum and dad. Like I'm way more like my mum, but like she's just probably I'm a bit all over the shop, right? Which is like my probably foible. But what other things did you pick up from your old man or your mum actually that you've had to work on?
Gosh. Well, Dad was a gambler. He loved gambling. My God.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And a gambler, as in he would love. He used to play cards. Used to play poker. There's occasions where he would have poker nights with fellow chefs. So we had to prepare some food for them and get the booze ready, and that they would just have a poker score, and vast amount of cash would pass hands. But he would have an account. He had an account with various bookmakers, and he would study form. So he enjoyed a flutter, put it that way. But he was also a gambler in life. He loved to take risks and to take, that. But I suppose, and he also lived on credit. I mean, he, didn't have that much in the bank. In fact, very little in the bank. And most of the businesses, including Gavroche, were in debt. And he lived on debt and he lived on credit. But, I suppose his philosophy was, I'm here, I'm living.
Yeah, but the thing I got from the book, if I was to boil it into one sentence, is like, fuck it, just go for it, in everything.
Yeah.
And so would you say you're more of a risk taker, than your old man, or how do you take risks? You're not. You're way more reserved.
In that respect, yes. I'm probably more like my uncle. My uncle was less of a risk taker, much more calculated, and maybe even a little bit tight.
That's what I was trying to get to, the Lennon-McCartney tension. Yeah.
So you'd have Dad that would just go for it. Come on, got to open another restaurant. We can borrow this amount of money. We can do this. It'll work. Don't worry. And Uncle go, well, look, hang on a minute. We're not making money here. We're losing money here. And you want to open another restaurant? They were constantly. They absolutely adored each other. I mean, they were almost inseparable. But God, they could argue and fight.
Espressos is sponsored by supply chain software gurus Unleashed. It talks your e-com and accounting software. It's helped islands cut admin time in half, get granular clarity on your margins, know where your stock is, don't miss availability. Brands like Candy Kittens, Tiny Rebel and Trip all use Unleashed, and so should you.